Welcome to another episode of Family Style. I am Kels Barnett, fashion designer. Far to my right is my beautiful sister, my pillar of information, Shay Wood, the queen bee, serial entrepreneur. Then there's Guy Wood, the man, the myth, the legend, the fashion icon, who doesn't get enough credit for who he is and what he is, because I don't think he knows what he is. To his left is the fashion icon, who is a magic being within herself, Ashley Muhammad. Love, life, and energy. Her family is incredible. Everything that she does is incredible.
Thank you.
What I want to talk about this episode is the importance of mental health. I came across a statistic that was absolutely crazy. Only 39% of Black Americans are currently receiving support for mental health or mental health issues.
Crazy.
And what I realized in my life, I unknowingly and unwillingly came into understanding mental health as an issue because I know a lot of my friends were dealing with depression, mental health, suicide, which is a very controversial statement now. And what I realized, what I think happens, I think we're hypersensitive to the word depression, and we're hypersensitive to what suicide is within our community, within our families. And we all know someone who has said that word to us.
Mm-hmm.
When I was growing up, I didn't know what suicide was. I didn't hear it other than movies.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Or
I think,
whispers.
right. But I think social media, music, movies,
Mhm.
video games has made that word a norm for our kids. Now you have 13-year-olds saying the word suicide.
Yes.
But what's dangerous about that is I don't know if what I learned about mental health is there's suicide and there's suicide tendencies,
Right.
which
Yes.
is a big
Ideation.
difference.
Right. For
Yeah.
sure.
Mhm.
For sure.
But I think a lot of kids say, hey, I'm suicidal because they don't know how they're feeling. Because I've
Right.
been depressed. I've been down. I've been sad. I've been crying. But I never said I feel suicidal.
Right.
Mhm.
So I get calls, I get texts, and I appreciate it of it. A friend saying, hey, I'm suicidal. More too often. And these are adults. These are grown men who have
Mhm.
beautiful lives, who have families, who have things that they want to accomplish, goals, everything. And
Mhm.
so, why do you guys feel that mental health is one a struggle, and why suicide is becoming a normal word for our society?
I think there's a lot of things. I think post COVID is a lot of people's problem. The job situation, lack of resources, money is funny out here. People can't get right, can't stay right. But also, I think the availability of, well, let me say the lack of availability of great services is
Right.
the problem because 39% is crazy low. I thought it
Right.
would be much higher. I think
Right.
at this day and age, Black Americans, brown, and Black people are in such dire straits in the family structure and the job situation that people just don't know what to do. So I feel like for me, suicidal is one, I'm confused. I can't
Right.
live like this. I
Right.
want to change. I can't. I'm on a hamster wheel. What do I do?
Right.
And so I think that the conversation is more about I need help instead of I want to kill myself.
Right.
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 Yeah. I mean, this new. I don't even. I'm just saying, the world has changed,
Mm-hmm.
and people are very sensitive. Back in the day, you would just you would tough it out. You would just handle it. You would never want to say. You would never want to cry in front of your kids or in front of your friends or your family. This new generation is super sensitive and in tune to their feelings, but I'm from the old school, so it's like I was like, you gotta tough it out. You gotta figure it out.
But do you think that toughing it out
Mhm.
Is
is
the right
what
answer.
is
Right.
Yeah,
what makes people insensitive to their own feeling? Like,
yeah, truly. It
yeah,
is. It is. But like I've had my children call me and say, I feel like I can't do this anymore. And I'm like,
yeah,
whoa, what are you talking about?
right.
Right. Because it's a new
It's a new
season
Yeah,
world.
for you.
Back in
right.
the day, you wouldn't have
Yeah.
thought nothing of
Right.
it.
I mean, you just need
Right.
another job.
Right.
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 You gotta go
Right.
get another job. But
But
Right.
I do think
Right.
that the world is making people hypersensitive to their own
yeah,
feelings. It's very
yeah,
scary.
yeah.
Right.
And that's and I want to say, man up. Man up, nigga.
Right.
But
that's not the right.
that's
That's-
not the right answer.
Right.
Not for this
That's the
generation.
old school.
That's the old
That's
school
old school.
answer.
school.
Yeah.
That's old
Right.
school.
Yeah.
So I be torn. I'm like, yo, I keep calling. Like, you all right? Yeah, I'm fine. I'm all right now.
Yeah.
I'm like, nah, but what happened?
Right.
Right.
Why did
Sometimes
you-
people just want to talk.
Right.
Yeah,
And I think that's the
But
part that's
I
missing.
I would rather you say that.
Yeah. But a lot of times people don't even know.
People don't know
Why
how.
are we
Yeah.
going all the way over here? Like,
Yeah.
Some people are so stuck in a problem, they need a solution, but they can't even say.
Right.
And
No.
I think that the world we this is a solution based world now.
Now.
So it's like if I
Yeah.
vent to you, sometimes I just want to vent and I don't want you to say
Yeah.
anything.
Right.
But what happens now is people want a solution to their problem when sometimes the only solution is just sometimes you just want to listen to someone.
Right.
So I have weekly check-ins with my friends,
Mhm.
literally, which is like, what do you need? And he'd be like, I got what I need. I just need somebody to
Yeah,
listen.
Right.
So my crash
But
out.
I'm
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah.
I think for me, this topic is very heavy because I don't ever think that I was suicidal. I was in a very, very, very toxic and very heavy relationship, and I was dealing with domestic violence. And I literally remember, and this is gonna sound heavy, guys, so it's okay though. But I remember literally like getting the shit beat out of me and saying, like, in my own head, like in that moment, like, God, just take me now.
Damn.
Right.
Like, just take me now. Like, I don't
Right.
just put me out of my misery so that I don't ever have to go through this again.
And so
What
you
I'm
wanted
gonna-
it to stop.
I wanted it to end.
Right.
Right. But of course, I didn't want my life to end, but I wanted this part to be over. And I saw no light at the end of that tunnel. I didn't want to think about my daughter having to see me, what I was going to look like when that was all said and done.
Yeah.
Right. Like, so I understand wholeheartedly what you're saying. And I know, but I get it. Right. And obviously after that, I even in my own self, like as I'm like nursing myself back and like looking at myself in the mirror and like saying like, Ashley, you got to figure out a way to get out of this shit. Like,
Right.
and because I'm like, you want to be here. There's so much life for you to live, but you can't keep going on like this. Like
Right.
we have got to figure out a way to end this cycle, you know? And the support of just people letting me know, like, look, how can I help you get out of this? Because there's a time
Right.
people, I think the most when people are going through things and they're dealing with those like ideations and those thoughts, is because they feel like they don't have a way out. And people helping to show me, like, no matter how many times this person figures out a way to get back into your life or to kind of like get back to you, we're going to keep helping you
Right.
until you're so far removed that now they can't
Right.
get to you,
So-
right? And you got to sacrifice some things, but at the end of the day, there's a way out for anybody
Right.
that's listening to
So
this.
your temporary is not a permanent.
It's
And
not a
that's,
permanent.
That's what you
even
need
if it
people to
feels
believe.
permanent in that moment.
Right.
And you kind of answered it because my next question is like, have you ever dealt with mental health? But how do you continuously tell yourself that to not go back to that space mentally?
Right.
We know you're not there physically because
Right.
you're out of that relationship.
Right.
But how do you stay out of that? Because what happens with a situation as far as domestic violence,
Right.
you relive that.
Right.
Something, it could be something very
Oh,
simple,
I-
something
you-
small.
let me-
Like, how do you
Yep.
check yourself, not check yourself?
Yeah.
But then,
But like an
how do
internal
you
self,
even
yeah.
tell your partner, no,
Right.
this is what I can't go back there?
Right.
Right.
I think the beauty for me is that I do have a partner that I can be very open and honest with, right? I'm able to tell him like, I don't like how that feels, right? In that moment. But you'll never get over it. And that's why like domestic violence and things like that are so detrimental to our people because you're never over that.
Right.
You're always living within that. And I saw a post the other day and it was like people don't realize that those because you can hear something, your parent might have said something to you as a kid that you still to this day remember once. Imagine living in a cycle of something like that, and that's all you hear 24/7, 7 days a week for
Right. It
years.
becomes your script.
It becomes a part of who you are, right? So for me, I always, anytime I get those thoughts of feeling less than, feeling lack, any of those feelings, I always remind myself that's not who I am,
Right.
right? As a person, that they were the damaged person, not me,
Right.
right? I was just a vessel of what they wanted to,
Right.
let out, but that's not who I am. And so I just constantly remind myself of that. And I'm very grateful to have a partner that understands that as well, because he's a product of, of that kind of a trauma also. So he's very mindful and he can say like, babe, we are not each other's enemies. We're each other's support. Like I am you, you are
Right.
me.
And you said something important, and I think it's dope as far as partner, even friendship. Like, yo, what you said, what you did, I don't like the way that feels.
It made me feel right.
I think that's the most important step, and I think that we all lack that because when we talk about breaking generational curses, we all this it is what it is.
Right.
This is how I am.
Right.
I ain't mean what I said, but you said it.
Right.
So you need to say, yo, what you did, what you said to me last Monday hurt me.
Right.
And it's okay that you hurt me, but I don't want to go because it takes me to a dark place.
Right.
Yeah,
And I don't want to go to a dark place.
Yeah,
Right.
I want to let you
Right.
know, make you aware.
Right.
Right.
That makes sense. That
Right.
makes sense, but that was damn heavy, yo.
Well, I mean, life is not all sunshine and rainbows.
Shay, have you ever have you ever had a situation when you dealt with your own mental health, or you supported someone with their mental health or crisis, whatever they were going through?
I've definitely had to help a few people through a few crises.
Hey.
I remember
Here
one
we go.
time.
Is this the intervention?
It's
Y'all got me.
not about you.
We tricked you. This is where we really is.
That's why we get the whole show.
Right.
But there's one moment.
I remember when I was in college, I came home. I used to work at this management consultant firm, and I lived in a suite with my friends. And I came home, and all of the lights were off. And I was like, this is weird. It was a Christmas break. And so it was only 3 of us, and the 4 of us lived there. And my friend was having a real mental health crisis.
Yep.
And my other roommate was scared to come out of her room because she didn't want to deal with it alone. So the second I came in, she rushed out and start talking to me. And I had to call, the ambulance to come and pick up my friend. And she went to the hospital and they put her on a 50-50 hold. And I, to this day, don't know what I would have done if I was also by myself, because I had never, she was out of herself. She was, talking like I had never seen her. And it was scary for me because I think for me, that was my first example of seeing someone in a mental health crisis. And so I viewed it very differently after that. And so now, I live in New York, so I see the symptoms, but
All the time.
this is somebody I knew.
She like, I see crazy motherfuckers every day.
But this is somebody I knew and loved. And when I left, she was one person. And when I came back, she was something else.
Yep.
Right.
To my core, that scared me.
Right.
And what I realized about the Black family, so for those who don't know, like I've volunteered with the developmental disabled for the last 20 years. So I see it very different. I learned patience and just everything through that. But what I realize about the Black community is that when someone is crazy or not well, they just sleep in the back room of grandma's house, and we're like, oh, that's crazy uncle, what you call
Joe,
it?
right.
We never acknowledge it. So I think the reason why that statistic, that 39%, is because we don't even allow services to come into our homes to get that number to higher.
Right.
That's just crazy Uncle Joe that live in the back room.
Right.
And we all know these people in the projects who, oh, that's we let them live and we let them wild out. But what I realized from doing what I do in the volunteer work that I've done is that these people don't need to be ignored. They need to be acknowledged. And I think because they've ignored it, ignites something far more dangerous. And what's crazy is a lot of these guys are gentle giants if you get to know them. All of that, avoiding them and calling them crazy. And this is why the word retard always correct people. I don't like that word said around me. I don't like people to say it, even if it's jokingly, even if it's to explain the overall point, because I work on a different spectrum of that population where those people are like, yo, that hurt my feelings. They don't even know how to tell a able-bodied person, yo, that word really is why I'm crazy, because when they go down to the deli to get my sandwich, they call me retard Kev or whatever they call. They don't like that word, so it excites them in a different way. And then what I don't know how this happened. I don't know, it's through divine intervention. A lot of my friends that go through mental crisis call me middle of the night. They have girlfriends, their mothers, their brothers call me. I don't know how this happened. So I'm glad that I'm that safe space for people. And what I've learned from that is sometimes all people need is for somebody to say, yo, B, I feel you.
Right.
You could tell them they're wrong in that situation. You could tell them, yo, that shit ain't right. And I put my well-being in the lives of a lot of people saying, yo, B, this is what I need from you. And all sometimes they need is for like, yo, I didn't know that. Like me and you were talking the other day and you was like, yo, I didn't know that. Sometimes people just need to hear, yo, I got you. You be like, oh, I know you had me. Remember we talk about this all the time. Like, no, like I got you, but hearing it is very different.
Right.
So when people going through a mental crisis, what I learned is just tell people, I'm there for you. I got you. Because that's all sometimes people want to hear.
If you're really there for them.
if you're really there for them.
Right.
Now, I hope if somebody calling you, if they on a ledge, you really there for them.
It is a commitment.
Yeah,
It is a commitment.
It is.
But it's a job that I'm glad that I have. I have anybody suffering from suicidal thoughts. I promise you can hit me. I'm there for you. I don't know why
But see, this is why you don't have a wife. Because if you had a wife, she'd have been like, tell him cut
right.
these
But
conversations.
there's no cutoff, B.
Yeah.
Yo,
Yeah, 2 o'clock.
I've spoke to people for 6 hours on something so minimal. I love it. It really does. It really does fulfill me in a great way that people feel like I'm a safe space for any depression they go into. I've never really dealt with depression that way, but I'm glad that people think I'm a safe space for them.
Yeah,
Do you
right.
think that people can talk to professionals or friends is the better option?
That's a good question. I don't know that. I don't have a dope answer for that.
I'm gonna go professional.
Yeah,
I'm gonna go professional.
I do
Because
both.
professionals have the tools. Like friends are good accessibility
both.
when you can't get to a professional.
Right.
But I think that a professional is going to always the right professional
yeah.
Okay.
is going to always have the better tools. I think
I think friends are a necessity,
for sure.
and professionals is a absolute.
Yeah,
Right.
Yeah.
Like, but you need both.
Right.
You do need a good set of friends around you that can keep you grounded, but you also got to go talk to that lady.
Right. Yes. The lady needs a call.
And you got to go talk to that lady.
Yes.
So it's funny you say that, Ash, because typically Black women do not seek help because they're so busy taking care of everybody.
Yeah. Well, as a mom, I can 1000%. I just had to cut my therapist bill off not too long ago so I can 1000% understand that.
Right. As a community, Black people don't seek the help of a professional, and we deal with a lot of PTSD in our community. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I could agree.
it's heavy gun violence, trauma, being
Poverty.
poor, being broke.
Right.
There's a
Right.
lot going on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll drink to that.
Yeah.
So it's time for a drink.
Yeah.
Okay, it's time for a drink.
It's
Yeah,
time
yeah,
for
it's
a
time
drink.
for
A drink.
It's
Yeah.
time
Well,
for a drink.
tonight we because this episode is so heavy, we drinking gin straight, HA
Straight.
spoke gin, straight
Straight.
neat,
No chaser.
No
no
chaser.
chaser, no drink.
Yes.
Yeah.
But
No
please,
chaser.
we're trying to get this right. We're trying to do better for our community. So, keep your mental health right. Keep good people around you, and don't deny yourself none of that fly shit. Family style.
I know that's right.
Yo.
What up, Ken?
What's going on? What's going on? How you doing?
Ooh, I like that fit.
Right, I'm
I
keeping it,
like that fit.
cozy luxury.
Ooh.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, who's that fellow?
This the Harlem Haberdashery cardigan, velour cardigan that I'm working on. Trying to teach guys that you could go high-low. You know what I'm saying? Like,
comfy.
usually when people wear cardigan, it's with a suit or some dress pants.
Right.
So I'm just trying to teach the guys, you know what I'm saying? You could do it with sweats. I got the Be Iconic socks,
Yeah.
Be Iconic bracelets, you know what I'm saying? A little gold. Show up to my man Brad Green on the eye.
Okay,
And I always like
alright.
to keep a scarf just to pop the color. You know what I'm saying? You know how we do color?
Nah, truly,
You know what I'm
truly.
saying? You got the ostrich yellow.
Yeah, you see that?
You feeling good with the
Yeah.
ascot?
Feeling like a little condiment. little, I felt a little ketchup and mustard.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
But what's dope about our style as a family in general, we all always look comfortable.
Right.
And that's so hard to teach dudes to be
yeah.
comfortable with their style.
Yeah.
So that's all I'm
you
trying
did
to do.
it. You
know
did
what I'm
that,
saying?
son.
Right.
You did that. I like that. I like it. Real comfortable, calm,
Right.
smooth.
Right.
Let me see. Oh, this you notice this is an HH jacket. This is
Come on, man.
ostrich.
That's what we're coming with?
Ostrich.
That
yeah,
ostrich
yeah,
yellow?
yeah. Come on, a little ostrich. And then I figured I threw a little something to the side, little
The
little
flare's
spicy.
crazy. Yeah, the flare's crazy.
Thank you, King. And then I got to, Stan Smith, little basic shit.
Right.
Yeah, but I say you put that together. You did
Right.
your thing, and let me see what I rate you to.
Okay.
Yay.
Okay.
Comfortability. I
man.
give you 3 points for comfortability. Color. I give you another 3 points for color.
Okay.
Rolex in the scarf. Get a strong 9, bro.
Yeah, okay, I like that.
Get a
I like that with the
strong
cozy
9.
vibes. I like that. I
Strong
like that. I
9.
like that. I like the frames.
Oh, be iconic.
Okay.